Joining us now to discuss the details of the development is News Central's correspondent who has stayed on the story since the news broke off the attacks in Okuama a little over 8 weeks ago. Austin Azu joins us now. Austin, good morning. Good to have you. Austin, I'm hoping you can hear us.
We need you to fix your audio for us so we can hear you.
You have to unmute. I think maybe you have your device on mute.
Good morning.
Oh,
good.
Good to have you, Austin. Great. First off, thank you for staying with the story since 8 weeks ago. Now, we want to ask, what were the most significant challenges or maybe obstacles faced in covering the developments in Okuama, particularly regarding access to accurate information and sources?
The tragedy that took place at Okuama on March 14 had a very peculiar story about what transpired. Even when the governor thereafter wanted to visit the scene, he was deprived by the Nigerian soldiers. However, he had a brief meeting with them at the jetty at Bomandi Beach, so before he went to see Mr. President. And subsequently, journalists, as usual, made an attempt to visit the Okuama community to see for himself what's really transpired, despite what some of these villagers from Okuama have told the press. And the military described the area as a crisis zone, red zone, that nobody was allowed to go to that area because they perceived that there could be a crossfire, or probably one could be used as an agent by the so-called, in quotes, the enemies, who they tend to be like, these are the people that keep our people. So it was really very difficult for media to really have another aspect of the story that took place at Okuama on March 14. Right. Thank God, the center was able to come into it, and we deployed, a technological means of us gaining access to Okuama, which is a story that we did. That came up about 3 weeks thereafter. We are able to assess Okuama from the sky using the drone to know what has transpired in Okuama. And after that particular release of that story, the story went viral, and the authorities saw it, and 5 weeks thereafter, the governor had to make an attempt to visit Okuama.
So, Austin, I think you covered that accurately, but we see visuals of homes scattered, wrecks and all of that. Exactly what is the picture? Is it that there are no homes left standing? The community is totally razed down. Is that what the situation is currently?
Yes. After the bloodbath at Okuama on 14th of March, the army in the reprisal attack decided to load heavy-duty trucks, which includes the bulldozer, the swamp buggy, and they took it across to Okuama. Don't forget that during this process where this whole event was ongoing in Okuama, nobody was allowed to go into Okuama. Even Okuama is on the island, so you cannot even access Okuama through the water. Okuama shares borders with Okoloba, shares border with Akubene, and some other communities across the water areas. So the army took those heavy-duty vehicles to that area, and they started demolition, bringing down, raising down the whole community. The only building we saw that survived the army's attack was the church and the community town hall, of course, and the school. So what happened after the leveling down of the community led to laying siege on the community so that nobody will know what is happening, nobody will know what they have done. But don't forget too that after the governor met with the president and the chief of defense staff, the governor told us that he was assured by the Nigerian Army and was assured by the president that no innocent persons will be victimized in Okuama. But today, the houses we saw have gone down in Okuama. I don't know if all the houses belong to the suspected persons they declared wanted. Of course, the army declared some persons wanted, including the traditional ruler of Emu and the PG of Emu and some other persons. But the question here remains that the houses that were brought down in the community, Who owns those houses? These houses, they belong to the declared people wanted, or they belong to the innocent Okuama indigents. More also, we equally spoke to an centenarian, a 109-year-old woman, who told us what transpired on that fateful day. And when the woman heard about the destruction, the wanton destruction in Okuama, the woman broke into tears. 196-year-old woman, she broke into tears. And that reminds me of what happened in one of the books written by Chinua Achebe, when the news came to Okonkwo in his exile that Albany has been invaded by the white men. So when...
Austin.
Oh.
Austin, I think you're frozen there. We're speaking to Austin Azu, our correspondent all the way in South Nigeria, who stayed on the story of Okuama killings. He broke the story, and we have been following the development of that story very closely. And now the Nigerian Army have left the community, and the indigents have been asked to return. But the question is, where are they going to?
Where are they going to
Where
live?
are they going to go to? As you see the footages on the screen, the homes have been razed in fire, destruction of homes pulled down, and farmlands destroyed. Austin, I understand you are back now. Austin, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
Here.
So, Austin, we're out of time because we're pressed for time. I wanted to ask, they've asked the indigents and residents of the Okuama community to return. What is the immediate challenge that they are going to face going back home?
Well, one of the major challenges remains that the roof over their head has been pulled down. So where will they stay? And even the IDP camp that the governor intended to relocate them to has not been fully completed. So these challenges remains the fact that where are they going to start again? Most of them have started taking refuge under the church building. And remember, this is rainy season. They cannot stay outside the church building. How many of them can the church building accommodate? And how many of them can the school equally accommodate and the town hall? And we equally gathered a few days ago that when the people of Okuama started returning, they met some suspected hoodlums who have come to their community to loot their property, and that resulted to another, confrontation that allegedly led to loss of life. So it's not going to be very easy for these people to start life again, picking the pieces of their lives, bring them back together to start again. Imagine the old woman we interviewed who was 109 years, who said that the wrapper she got over 50 years ago, where will she get them again? These ornaments are very precious to these old people. So they keep them for record purposes, and they keep them for their own, their children and their grandchildren. So going back to Okuama at this point in time to restart life again, most of them we heard their blood pressure has skyrocketed, has gone higher, because what they saw is nothing to write home about. And the only appeal they are feeling now is that the government should hesitate the building process. And some of that equally lost the fear that most of these people that will be given the contract of the building of Okuama might not build the buildings to their own satisfaction, might not even start the building. They will just be using political statements to be saying they are building. That what they want at this point in time is for the governor to give some of them individual money for them to start their lives again, and giving the money to a private.
Austin, your network is bad there, but if you are just tuning in, that's Austin Azu, our correspondent live in South Nigeria, Delta State, giving us updates to the residents and indigents who are returning back to Okuama community, who have faced some hard times in the past 8 weeks. Again, many thanks to Austin Azu there. We'll take a short break. When we come back on the other side, we speak to more, or rather we deal now, we explore the implications of this development, the complexities of conflict resolution, and the importance of collaborative efforts. Stay with us. No, it's not you. I'm talking to Museum.
Talking to me. Guests, all right. We have two guests, yes? All right, hello, this is Mr. Okakoro. Good morning, sir.
The name is not Mr. Okakuro. It is Okakuro Akokona Omafere Square.
Okakuro Oborevwori. Did I get that right, sir?
Okakuro Akokona Omafere. Okakuro is my chieftaincy title.
Okay. I get it.
So we thought it was your first name.
My first name is Akokona and my surname is Omafere. I'm a lawyer.
All right, sir. Now, if you were with us just only moments ago, we spoke to our correspondent, Austin Azu, who shared with us details regarding the return of residents of Okuama community. Recall that following a prolonged siege by the Nigerian Army, Okuama community in Delta State sees a significant shift as troops were withdrawn, allowing residents to return home and begin rebuilding. And rebuilding, indeed, is the word.
Yes, indeed. Now, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori attributes this intervention by the President Bola Tinubu and the military leadership with initial reluctancy to relocate to IDP camps is noted. Efforts for transition continues. Now, this development underscores the complexities of conflict resolution and the importance of collaborative efforts. So join us to explore, or rather, as we explore the implications with our esteemed panel for today.
Yes, indeed. We are going to be joined by two guests. We will be establishing communication very soon with Victor Ojay, Senior Special Assistant on Civil Society and NGOs to Delta State Governor. But for now, we have Okakuro Oborevwori with us, Legal Representative, Okuama Community. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. Pleased to join you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday. Now, sir, please, can you please provide us insight into the collaborative efforts between the civil societies, NGOs, and the Delta State government in addressing the situation in Okuama presently?
First of all, when you talk about, I think what really happened is not really a consensus of the mind. Rather, certain individuals, when the incident occurred, took it upon themselves and they took action. The government on their part also, as a responsive government, also play their role. So I don't think it was a consensus, but there were different coordination by individual, by groups and others. I think that is the point.
Right. You are the legal representative for Okuama community. What legal avenues or recourse did Okuama community pursue in addressing the prolonged siege by the Nigerian Army and advocating for the withdrawal of the troops?
You know that Nigeria is an entity regulated by law. There are laws regulating this country, and the biggest law of this country is the Nigerian Constitution. And the Constitution provides for the rights of the citizens. When incidents as this of Okuama occur, and we know that there are going to be casualties, civilian casualties, innocent people will suffer. So right away, as we speak, I wanted to correct an impression by your correspondent, Azu, earlier. There is only one building left in that community as we speak, because I just left the day before yesterday. Only one, the Anglican Church, is the only building left in that community, no other building. Now, we are in court, and because we are in court, there is a little I'll be able to discuss, because it will become sub judice, and we cannot approbate and reprobate. We went to court to fight for the fundamental rights of the Okuama people, because as you can see from all the visual, Okuama is no more. And you will agree with me that it is regrettable that our armed soldiers were killed in a very dehumanizing manner. But again, you also agree that it is not everybody from those communities in a wood that the soldiers went to attack were the people who participated in this. So therefore, when you take a group action against everybody, we have to find a way to fight for the right of the people. That's why we went to court, led by my senior counsel, Malcolm Omurobo Esquire. He led the team, and we're in court today. We're in Federal High Court. Other team, led by the very learned Reverend Senior Advocate Oborevwori Akpomuge, also have another suit in the Federal High Court. And there is a civil society group, an NGO, who also went to court. All these three suits are fighting, seeking for the fundamental right of the Okuama people.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we've established a connection with Victor Ojei, so we're going to be moving on to Victor Ojei. Victor Ojei, you are welcome. Victor Ojei is the Special Assistant on Civil Society and NGOs to Delta State Governor. Victor, good morning. Victor, are you with us, please? If you can unmute.
Hello.
Good. Good to have you here, Victor. Thank you for joining us. You can't hear us? Can you hear us now, please, Victor?
I can't hear you. I can't
All right,
hear
we'll have to rectify that, but let's move on now. Perhaps maybe if you take the earpiece off, it will be best. But while we're doing that, let's go back to our previous guest now. Please, sir, let's ask, can you shed light? I know you said that the matters are in court, but however, can you shed more light on the legal framework and agreements reached between the community representatives and the government regarding the troops withdrawal and the subsequent reintegration process?
Right away, I can tell you that the community did not sit and discuss or collaborate with the government. The government on their own felt it needful to collaborate with the military to see the need for them to withdraw from the community because of the people suffering. You could see reports of the people in the bush, children dying, there's no food, no place to sleep, and you know it's never easy. So the Delta State government on their own took it upon themselves. They negotiated or discussed or whatever, whichever method they could use, they prevailed on the military high command and the presidency. And I think that led to them withdrawing. And also, on our own part, we have been in court. We've been in court also fighting the military that, no, you can't just do this. And you cannot also occupy the community because the community, there's no Nigerian law that says if soldiers are killed in anywhere, then the military should go and destroy the place and occupy the place. So we'll be fighting from the court. The government have been doing their own. I think that is, and the newspaper too, the media, they are also doing their part. I think this effort led to what we are seeing today.
Victor, are you back on now? Because I have a question for you.
Yes, I'm back. I can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. Can you provide insights into the collaborative efforts between civil societies, NGOs and the Delta State government in addressing the situation in Okuama community?
From day one, all hands has always been on deck. The civil society, the government, stakeholders were very responsive by way of agitating for the military to leave the community because, like the legal representative rightly said, there's no law that says that when soldiers are killed in the community, that soldiers should take over that community. And for a start, the military were never supposed to be there in the first place because it is the mandate of the police to investigate such nefarious acts from citizens or from persons that carried out that killings, unwarranted killings of those military officers. It's so painful, but what has happened has happened. I mean, the souls of those that were lost, rest in peace. because it's something that is unthinkable that happened, and nobody is happy about it here in Delta State, whether from stakeholders, from state actors or non-state actors. But it's a good one. I want to appreciate distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko for his effort playing politics beyond borders as a Delta North senator that went to Delta Central to advocate for the release of the royal father from Ewu Kingdom, Okuama community. And I also want to appreciate His Excellency Sheriff Oborevwori for his actions also as a responsive governor, because he has made provisions for their welfare, even while they were while they were away from the community. He did a lot to make sure that they had access to feeding. The Chief of Army Staff is also a good man because of the role he played. The Chief of Army Staff obviously showed us that it was after some days of advocacy, but he gave it a positive thought, that 24 hours after he was approached to release the monarch, the Chief of Army Staff was so civil, and we appreciate his effort. He really showed that, yes, in the military, we still have some officers who still respect human rights. So we appreciate him for doing that, and we appreciate everybody that has laid a voice to this, mostly the media. We appreciate the media, the efforts of the media in Nigeria, their effort to make sure that everybody, like the news was everywhere. Okuama community was everywhere, because it's not as if it's only in Delta State that such incidents of killing soldiers happens. There are even a lot of cases that are unreported in the northeast of Nigeria. But we want to appreciate the media for pouring light on this, for the advocacy also.
All right then, Victor. Victor, so let's talk about the efforts by the governor or the government. Could you assess the efforts that we're putting in helping these people to return to their homes? How would you assess it? Was it great or lacking in any way?
It's a positive one. The primary aim of government is the welfare and security of its citizens. The government of Delta State did well. They made provisions for feeding to date, and then the governor set up a committee to investigate what actually led to this, and also a committee that will take care of them for their integration back into the society.
I want to come in there, Victor. I want to come in there, Victor. Real quick, Victor. Now, you said that there's an investigation that has been started. Has anything come out of the investigation? It's been 8 weeks. 4 weeks ago, we saw the governor on ground.
It's still ongoing.
But it's been 4 weeks since it's been 4 weeks since.
Time before you conclude. Just like the NSAS panel, it took a lot of time, a lot of weeks and months of hard work, of investigation, of fundamental right violation by the police towards the citizens. So it takes time. I know in a very short time, the report will be out. And those who are to be held accountable must be held accountable.
Let me come to you, sir, regarding, legal representation. How would you assess, the people of Okuama and just the effectiveness so far in the entire process throughout this entire time, both, them having access to legal representation and also the response from the state government?
That's you, Mr. Oborevwori.
I want to first of all, I want to correct one impression created by one boss. Victor is one boss. I know him very well. So I want to correct that impression. Issue of feeding the people. Government never fed the people. I've been in constant touch with the people. When the only persons that have come to help the people so far in terms of feeding was one Urobo man, Michael Egi, who stays in US, who sent donation. The Red Cross wanted to make donation, but they couldn't access them. Then Urobo Historical Society, as we speak, and UPU, they are the only other person now, which are the point of trying to give them something. Because I've been in constant touch with them. I've been going to the forest to meet with them until when they return, and also when they before yesterday. Now, on the issue of legal representation, we are very, very adequate and up and doing in that aspect, because like I told you, we have 3 suits already in court. One is being led by a team of senior advocates and a galaxy of other lawyers, wherein they are demanding about 150 billion as general damages and all that. While we have our own suit led by Malcolm Omirobo, where we are demanding 200 billion for the displacement of the people, for dehumanizing the people, for destroying their community, for making them look less than human beings, for making them to suffer, for making children to die. So we are very, very updated. We are very strong in our matter. And as I can speak to you, the military has been served, and having been served, they don't even have representation in court. On the last day we went to court, there is no representation. They have not put in any papers, and the court has adjourned to on the 4th day of June for us to come up and move our motion. That is where we are as it is. And again, we are also making effort, because fundamental rights is a right that inures to human being. Because you're a human being, you have a right to live, and you have right to own property. So we are thinking of consolidating these three suits so that we can just run with one purpose. That is what we are doing as we stand.
Let me also ask about the challenges that the people are facing. You are the legal representation so far, so that means your ears is, you're close to them, you're literally their eyes and ears. From your own account, what are the challenges that they are facing currently regarding just, the NGOs' collaborative efforts so far, and just trying to reintegrate back into everyday life?
Now, first of all, the government, their own wisdom, thought it wise that they should set up an IDP camp. But the people have their own reservation. The reservation is from their past experience during the flooding period, whereby people come to the camp to lay siege to food being brought and all sorts of treatment. Then also, they also have reservation as to staying far away from their community after the withdrawal of the soldier, whatever. Their plants, their products, and whatever, the ruins. Even from the ruins, people came, scavengers from other communities came, they were scavenging, taking away whatever that is left in those buildings. So the challenge is enormous. The people refused to go there. They said they would not want to go there. They would rather want to go to their place. If the camp can be built in their community, they have their farmland. When in the morning they can go to their farm and return. Maybe gradually they will begin to start life all over again. Now, on return, that day they return, which is on the 8th, what did they experience? They met troops of youth from other communities, scavenging foams, pots, broken plates, iron rods from houses and other, grinding machines that were destroyed, even these solar lights that were completely destroyed, the panels and everything. They were scavenging and pulling them away to their community for sale. That was what led to the attack that was reported that one was dead and 3 others were injured. Now, the people are back there. The few people who are there, basically, the majority of people who I met there, they are youths. The youths are desirous of return to their place. The women also desirous of return to their place. Some of them have even started fishing. They caught some fish. I could even provide you some photograph. Now, but the challenge is that there is no pot even to cook. There is no ingredient to cook with, no salt, no curry, no food, no medicine, no place to sleep. It's only the Anglican church. So what they do is, some of them, they were able to get some few torn nets. So in the night, they tied up the net and sleep. They sleep on the floor of the jetty. That is what they are going through. That is why the Urobo Progress Union leadership, they are desirous of even going there maybe within the next 2 days to go and give them food. Then the Urobo Historical Society, United States of America, send donation, and the food will be maybe taken to them in the shortest period. So what the people need now, they need resettlement. They need effort from everybody on how to start again. Because one of the women I interacted with told me that the mom died few days before the incident. The mother is in mortuary. Only to come back now, the house is completely destroyed. Everything belonging to the mother, the grandmother that were kept in her house, destroyed. All her provision shop, everything looted away. I'm thinking of compiling the level of destruction in that community.
It's a very bad situation, Mr. Mafori.
Economic trees were pulled down. Economic trees were pulled down. That is the level of, in fact, you cannot really recount.
It's a grim picture. But Victor, I want to come to you now. You've heard the picture that has been painted by Mr. Mafori here. And it's, indeed, I'm sure that the civil societies and the NGOs are going to do their best to try and reintegrate these peoples back into their homes. However, that place, that community and communities around are a very volatile place. We also know that perhaps the initial instance had something to do with illegal oil processing or so. Now, with that in view and looking forward in the future, what can be done and how are the people being helped here to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
Like I've always advised, stakeholders should get at least 20 volunteers from every community. Then 5 drones for area surveillance to monitor the terrain. Because if before now we had access to, or the community had access to area surveillance and drones, that the youths were running surveillance, area surveillance, to survey the region, they would have seen that there was ambush from the drone, that there was an ambush for those against those military men, and they would have cautioned them. But there was no area surveillance, no drone. So I'm advising, this is my personal advice, that every community that always have exterior attacks should make effort of getting at least 5 drones for daily surveillance, area surveillance, for security reasons. And the youth should have access, these 20 youths should have access to iPads or phones that they could use to power this drone. And there should be these youths should also be funded by way of data, monthly data, because they need data for communication, and they should create a WhatsApp platform where they can be sharing information or data of whatever suspicion they have about their surveillance. So this is my own 1 kobo contribution, personal contribution.
Well, Victor, many thanks for that, and also to yourself as well, Mr. Mafori, for just taking out the time this morning to have this conversation with us. We do appreciate you for coming on, gentlemen.
Thank you.